Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like your business is busy, but somehow not really moving forward? You're running campaigns, your team is working, meetings are happening, training sessions are conducted, and yet growth feels slow, unpredictable, or unnecessarily painful. If that sounds familiar, stay with me, because what I'm about to share might explain exactly why. And no, it's probably not what you think. Over the last few years, I've worked closely with founders, CEOs, HR heads, and leadership teams across different industries. Smart people, capable teams, decent revenues. But almost all of them came to me with the same silent frustration. We're doing a lot, but we're not seeing proportional results. Some blamed marketing, some blamed employees, some blamed the market, the economy, or competition. But here's the truth most people don't want to hear. The problem is rarely effort. The problem is almost always alignment. And misalignment is expensive, quietly expensive. Let me tell you about a company I recently spoke to. Around 60 employees, good brand presence, decent digital activity, regular trainings. On the surface, everything looked fine. But when we started asking deeper questions, things surfaced quickly. Marketing didn't fully understand business priorities. HR was running trainings without clear performance linkage. Leadership was making decisions based on assumptions, not data. Digital spend was happening, but ROI was unclear. No one was incompetent. No one was careless. They were just working in silos. And that's when growth slows, morale drops, and leadership starts feeling exhausted. Does that sound uncomfortably familiar? Here's the hard truth. Most organizations don't have a talent problem. They don't even have a strategy problem. They have a clarity problem. They don't clearly see where money is leaking, where effort is being wasted, where the biggest growth opportunities actually are. So they compensate by doing more marketing, conducting more training, hiring more people, instead of fixing the real bottlenecks. And this is where most businesses unintentionally lose years. This is exactly why, at DMMS, we don't jump straight into execution. We don't say, let's run ads, let's train your team, let's redesign your process. Instead, we start with something most companies skip, a structured business and digital growth audit, because without diagnosis, execution is just guessing. Now here's the interesting part. Most leaders think they know what's wrong in their business. But in over 80% of cases, the real issue turns out to be somewhere else entirely. And that discovery alone often changes everything. Let me explain how. When we conduct an audit, we're not looking at things in isolation. We look at how everything connects. Business goals versus actual strategy, digital efforts versus measurable outcomes. Team capability versus real performance expectations, processes versus scalability. Because growth doesn't break due to one big failure. It breaks due to many small misalignments that compound over time. And the most dangerous part? You usually can't see them from the inside. If you're a founder or CEO, you might be thinking, I know something isn't right, but I don't have the time to dissect everything. If you're an HR or operations leader, you might feel, we're doing trainings, but leadership still isn't satisfied. And if you're managing marketing or growth, you might quietly wonder, are we actually moving the needle or just staying busy? These thoughts don't mean failure. They mean you're aware enough to fix things properly. A proper audit gives you a clear picture of what's working, a brutally honest view of what's not, prioritized actions instead of scattered initiatives, data-backed direction instead of opinions. Most importantly, it gives leadership confidence, confidence to invest, confidence to train, confidence to scale, because decisions are no longer emotional, they're informed. Now imagine this for a moment. Imagine knowing exactly which 20% actions will give you 80% impact, which activities you can safely stop, which teams need support, and which just need direction. Imagine walking into meetings with clarity, not stress. That's what alignment feels like. And once alignment happens, growth becomes simpler, not easy, but simpler. So let me ask you directly, if you're leading a growing organization, managing teams and budgets, feeling the pressure to get it right, and you don't want to waste another year on guesswork, then this conversation is for you. What I recommend is simple. Before spending more on execution, Before launching another campaign, before conducting another generic training, start with clarity. Book a business and digital growth audit with us. No fluff, no selling you services you don't need. Just a structured professional assessment of where you are and where you should focus next. Growth shouldn't feel chaotic. Leadership shouldn't feel exhausting. Success shouldn't depend on guesswork. With the right insight, structure, and priorities, things start to make sense again. If this resonates, reach out. Let's bring clarity before complexity.